I'm going to go ahead and hold the rest of the SEC for next week because we're going to have time to get to everybody because I want to cover the top teams in college football. All right. College football win totals, according to Vegas, over-under based on a 12-game regular season. This does not include the possibility of the postseason. So we'll start with Clemson because they have the highest over-under win total at 11.5, higher even than Alabama and Georgia. 11.5 on Vegas line. So they have got to go 12-0 if you bet the over. There's no push, no anything. If they win 11, you lose. So the question is, will they go 12-0 and run the table in the regular season? I'm going to say no. And I know everybody's going to say, well, they play in the ACC. They got an easy schedule. They get A&M at home. But I just don't think this Clemson team is going to run the table. I just think that they lost too much off of that defensive line. So I'm taking the under on Clemson. Alabama is at 11, which means if you take the over or the under and Alabama wins 11, you get a push. James, I'm taking the over. I think Alabama goes 12-0 again. And you know how leery I am of a lot of different games. I'm leery even earlier going to South Carolina. I'm leery of going to A&M. Clearly, going to Auburn is going to be tough. But I like this Alabama team a lot. I'm taking the over. I'm taking Alabama over 11. Georgia also at 11. Boy, that's tough. Because I think they're going to win 11. I think they're going to win 11. I think they're going to lose 1. But I got to take over or under. So if I'm going to bet on that number, I'm going to go under. I think their chances of losing 2 are better than their chances of going 12-0. How about that? Ohio State's at 10. Ohio State's at 10. I just think in the Big Ten, they're going to go over. Even with Ryan Day as the first-year head coach, I think they'll be 11-1. Michigan's at 9.5. I think Michigan's going to go over. I think they'll finish 10-2. Notre Dame at 9.5. I'll go over there. I think they can get to 10 wins. Washington at 9.5. That's a tough one. But you know what? I think Washington is probably the favorite in the Pac-12. Oregon's going to be good. I'll take Washington at over. I'll take them to get to 10. Texas at 9.5. I think Texas is going to be really good. I think Texas can get to 10. That's over. LSU at 9. Another one of those teams that's just, I think 9's right on it. All right? I think LSU probably will go 9-3 in the regular season. So it's hard to, if I think they've hit the number right on the number, then I'm probably not going to bet on that team, on their over-under total. Let me take a look at this LSU schedule. Let's just break it down one by one. Open with Georgia Southern. That's a win. They go to Texas. Big game. Big game. I'm gonna go with Texas there. 1-1. Northwestern State 2-1. At Vanderbilt 3-1. Utah State 4-1. Home against Florida. I give them a win there. 5-1. At Mississippi State 6-1. Host LSU 7-1. Go to Alabama 8-2. Go to Ole Miss 9-2. Host Arkansas 8-2 is where they're at. Okay, host Arkansas 9-2. This is the swing game. A&M at home. Oh boy, let me look again. I think 9 wins is about right. Beat A&M right now at home in Baton Rouge. So I got them going 10-2 actually. So I'd have to take the over if I were betting it. I'd have to take the over. 10-2 for LSU. I mean, I just think they lose to Bama. I think they lose to Texas. I got them beating Florida right now. Now I may have a different opinion by the time we get to October the 12th. But right now I got them beating Florida. So I'll take the over LSU 9. Oregon at 8.5. I'll take the over there. I think that they get to 9 wins. And then USC at 7. I got to go to the schedule. We got to go to the schedule. Again, these are over-under win totals set by Vegas. USC at 7. Let's pull up the schedule. Let's go down it one by one. They open with Fresno State. That's a win. They host Stanford. Ouch, right off the bat. Loss, 1-1. Go to BYU. I think they win that one. 2-1. Host Utah. I'm going to give them a win there. 3-1. Go to Washington. Loss, 3-2. Go to Notre Dame. Loss, 3-3. Host Arizona. Win, 4-3. Go to Colorado. Win, 5-3. Host Oregon. Loss, 5-4. Go to Arizona State. Win, 6-4. Go to California. Win, 7-4. Get UCLA. That's a toss-up game. I've already got them at 7, though. I'll go ahead and give them a win there. So I'll give them an over 7. I got them at 8-4, just off the hoof, without putting a lot of time into it. All right, so recapping some of the college football top teams in 2019. I've got Clemson going under the 11.5. I got Alabama going over the 11. I got Georgia going under the 11. I got Ohio State going over the 10. Michigan going over the 9.5. Notre Dame going over the 9.5. Washington going over the 9.5. Texas going over the 9.5. LSU going over the 9. Oregon going over the 8.5. And USC going over the 7. So I got most of these teams living up to expectations based on their win totals. Now, as I said, the rest of the SEC, we're going to save for Monday because I want to spend a little more time, and it's already 10:53. But to give you kind of a sneak peek as far as the totals, we're not going to make those predictions, but we'll start in reverse order, meaning the teams expected to win the least games first. Vanderbilt is at 5, Ole Miss at 5, South Carolina at 6, Kentucky at 6, Arkansas at 6, Tennessee at 6.5, Missouri at 6.5, A&M at 7.5, Auburn at 8, Mississippi State at 8.5, LSU at 9. Of course, we already did LSU. Florida at 9, Georgia at 11. We already did Georgia. And Alabama at 11. We already did Alabama. So we've done Alabama, Georgia, and LSU, but we'll do the rest of the SEC on Monday as SEC Media Days kicks off. Vegas knows what they're doing. It's a business for them. They're good. They take all of the fandom looking strictly at where do we set this number to get 50% of the people taking the over and 50% of the people taking the under. So these are very objective picks. And if you bet on these over-under totals, you're putting your money on the line, so it makes you more objective. That's the one thing about gambling, and I don't gamble. All right, I'll just be honest with you. I'm a sportscaster, the University of Alabama-owned commercial television station. I don't bet on sports, period. But if you do bet on sports, the one thing that it will do, if you're going to be any good at it, is it will force you to lose your fandom. I've heard people say, well, I can't bet against my team. Well, then don't bet on your team, period. Because if you can't be objective, you're going to lose money. So most of the people that gamble, at least, they're more focused on trying to win than they are on betting on a team just because they want that team to win. So I know a lot of people that bet that won't bet on their team because they don't think they can be objective. But when you're betting and you're putting your money up, usually you're focused on, I may not like this team. Let's say you're betting on a game one week and and there's a line you see and that team that you don't like is laying 6. And you say, man, I never want to pull for that team. But I think they're going to kill this team they're playing. You know what? You're going to bet on the -6 because you want to win the money. And your dislike for that team is not going to keep you from thinking, man, I think they're only laying 6. I think Team A is going to kill Team B. I'm putting my money on Team A even though I don't like that team. And then you know how you rationalize it if Team A doesn't cover? You say, well, I lost my money, but at least they lost because I didn't like them anyway. So little games that some of these gamblers play.